So Michelle's talk is about two of her dogs that she adopted. And Michelle, as she'll speak, she adopted them specifically from Korea for a very particular reason. She's going to get into that. And I should just note, Michelle's dogs have an Instagram account which I follow, which I highly recommend. She posts very good stuff. And enjoy. So with that being said, I will turn it over to Michelle.
Thank you, Dan. You wouldn't think twice about eating cows. We call it beef. You wouldn't think twice about eating pigs. We call it pork. You wouldn't think twice about eating chicken or fish, unless, of course, you're a vegetarian or for some religious reason. What about dogs? That's what people do in Korea. It's called 보신탕 or 개소주. Soju might sound familiar to some of you. Soju is a tequila version in Korean liquor. So 보신탕 is either grilled or stewed, and 개소주 is basically extracted juice after boiling it for a long time. It's a lucrative industry, and dog meats are sold $5 per one pound. When did it start? Long time ago, about 57 BC, in Korea, then Shilla dynasty, going to the next dynasty called Goryeo. The state religion in Korea was Buddhism. So eating beef or cow was strongly discouraged, looked down upon, and eventually it was banned. Then toward the end of Goryeo dynasty, the war refugees from China called kitten introduced eating dog meat to Korean people during Mongolian invasion. So we do understand that long time ago, we didn't have much meat. So people might have used dogs as an easy source of protein. But why do people still eat dogs in Korea? There are 2,780 dogs being slaughtered every single day on average in Korea alone. The first myth is that they think it increases their sex hormones, especially for guys. So some people eat it because they believe it's a natural Viagra. Is it true? So there was one independent experiment where 5 males had dog meats for 3 times a day. The result? Unsurprisingly to me, there was no change or even decrease in their sex hormones. Second myth is some people think dog meats help with physical strength. Do you agree? Well, doctors don't. Doctors believe that dog meats are higher in fats, they are high in cholesterol, they cause heart diseases, stroke, and it could damage your liver. At the beginning of this presentation, I posed a question. We eat beef, we eat pork, we eat chicken. So why am I saying dog meat is a problem? The problem is it's not regulated. What I mean by that is that the processing itself is not regulated. So in Korea, it's the statute runs the law. So currently, the Article 7 of the Animal Protection Act in Korea does not explicitly prohibit killing dogs for meat. The bigger problem is that the principal statute that regulates the slaughtering process for beef, pork, and chicken, which is the Livestock Processing Act of 1962, do not apply to dog meat. The result? Dogs are being slaughtered in a very inhumane ways. Most of them are electrocuted or blowtorched while alive, or thrown into a boiling water, or bitten to death, or strangled. Another issue is that it's very unsanitary. They live in a barbed wire cages like this. It's called dimjang. And there is no place for them to put their paws on. So often it causes their paws to be deformed. Why? Because if you put a barbed wire like this, humans do not ever have to clean the cages. And dogs often do not get out of the cage ever in their lives. Another issue is what they are fed. These are food garbage that a lot of dogs raised for dog meat eat. In worst scenario, some dogs are fed other dogs. You might want to know, where do all these dogs come from? I just said every day 2,780 dogs are being killed. You have probably seen these cute advertisements of puppies for sale. I see them more often during Christmas time. What you do not see is this. These are the mothers of those cute puppies in a puppy mills. They live all their life during the dark, in the dark cages. They often are forced to have puppies 3 or 4 times a year. They yield puppies up to 50 puppies in their lives. Male dogs are injected with hormones, and female dogs are often done C-sections by unlicensed employees at puppy mills to make sure all the puppies get out so they could make more money. If you see if you have any experience with the rescued puppies from the puppy mill, they're extremely sensitive. Oftentimes, they don't know how to walk because they never did. Then after 1 or 2 months, these little puppies will put into these boxes, and they're sold at private auctions to pet shops. Every month, 20,000 of them are sold. A lot of them are malnourished for 2 reasons. One, their mothers are already pregnant, again, or they're malnutrition because when they look smaller, they sell better. Another big supplier for the dog meat in Korea is dog meat farms. Yes, there are dog meat farms, 28,000 of them. As I said earlier in the presentation, they live in binjang, which is a barbed wire cages, where they never get to walk. Once they become a full-size dog, they're stuffed into cages altogether, and they're transported to be slaughtered in a truck. As you can see in the lower right corner here, sometimes they're put in the same truck with other dogs that had already been slaughtered. Yes, there are shelters in Korea. There are 300 of them. Only 28 of them are government-run, and the rest of them are by contractors. So on average, 71 dogs get lucky to be in their shelter, protected just for 10 days. After 10 days, they're supposed to put to sleep because there are so many. Unfortunately, those subcontractors have been reportedly selling the dogs to a dog meat market. So that was another big supplier. Only 20% of them, after 10 days, are reunited with their owners or adopted. So December of 2016, Moran Market, which is the biggest dog meat supplier in Korea, was ordered to shut down. So what you're seeing here are the dogs that were brought in to be slaughtered, but now they were left abandoned. There was no water, there was no food, and it was under humid heat. You can see some of the dogs are already laying aside. We don't know if it's alive or dead. The protests are still going on. This is a picture of dog meat suppliers and vendors protesting against the government to keep the dog meat market open. Their main arguments are 2. One is that eating dog meat is a Korean tradition that should be embraced. 2, the breeds for the dog meat and pets are different. So they would often bring in big dogs like this. And in Korean, the sign says, this is what dog meats look like. These are not pets. The battle is still going on, and it's very real. And you see here, you see a CARE or pro-organization coming, picketing against the people who want the government to rescind the order to keep the dog meat market open. As you have seen, big dogs are very unpopular in Korea. The most popular dogs are smaller ones, maybe about 20 pounds or less. Maltese, Poodle, Shih Tzu, Pomeranian. If you're a mixed breed, you're out of luck. What I mean by that, mixed breeds are most abandoned dogs in Korea, which compose about 42.2%. This is my dog, Mongi. Mongi in Chinese means dream. About 16 years ago, there was no social media to inform us about dog meat market or all these horrible conditions. So not knowing what I know now, we also purchased Mongi from a private breeder. She was a rare white schnauzer. I lived with her in Seattle, Korea, New York, and Connecticut. And last year in May, she was put to sleep. So it started from Mongi, and after Mongi passed, we were very depressed. And we specifically started looking into ways to adopt dogs from Korea, and we wanted to adopt a mixed breed. And we found this guy. His name is Sol. He's 1 year old. He's a mixture of Chindo, Akita, and Shar-Pei. He's known to be a very good guard dog. Chindo is a Korean traditional breed, so they only select a very specific number every year, and the rest of them are sold to the meat market. Then, in February of this year, we adopted our second one, Sezel, the angel. Sezel in Korean means the world's cutest. And he actually modeled to benefit other rescued puppies in Korea and had over 1,000 followers in his own Instagram before we got to meet him. He is a Spitz mix and very fun. He loves people, and he's a troublemaker in my house. I understand some of you are hesitant to adopt a dog from Korea without really meeting them in person. So if you go to Long Island City, I have good news. Korean Canine Rescue is an organization that brings dogs that were saved from the meat trade in Korea and put them on website for adoption. These are the dogs that I just saw in their website. They have a lot of dog pictures posted almost daily, waiting to find their forever family. At the same time, I understand that all of you are in position to adopt a dog from Korea or from shelters here. But why am I saying you should adopt dogs from Korea? Why am I telling you about all these horrible dog meat market? Because at the end of the day, here in America, we don't eat dogs. They do. We don't kill dogs in inhumane ways. They do. So if you can't adopt a dog, please consider ways to get involved. One way is to donate to those organizations, or you can volunteer your time at the shelter, or you can be a volunteer carrier. This is Tofu. I was in Korea just last month, and Tofu was brought into Canine Rescue Organization from Korea to New York, and I volunteered to be the carrier. After 3 days, he found his forever family. So if you have your friends, or if you are planning to go to Korea for a business trip or for traveling, plan ahead, and if you just give 30 minutes of your time, every document and the fees are paid by the organization, so it's really easy. If you're not planning to go to Korea or don't know anyone who are planning to go to Korea, you can always repost those photos of puppies who are waiting to find their families. These are Sol and Sezel, and as Dane said, yes, they do have their own Instagram, And this is their Instagram account, soul_Instagram_. It's a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun. I hope my presentation today poked your interest about considering adopting a dog from Korea. And next time when someone asks you a question, what's your favorite breed? I hope your answer is rescued is my favorite breed. Thank you.